It's May and this is the Library Roadshow. On the show today, authors. Welcome to the May edition of the Library Roadshow. I'm Mary Stein, and this is a production of your East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. This year's Authors Road takes place at Jones Creek Regional on Saturday, May 24th from 10 to 4. It features ice cream and a writing workshop with Alex Jennings. Stay in the writing zone with 2 more writing workshops with Steve Colby on May 25th and 27th, and add that to the Writer's Lounge, Form Factor, Break a Nib, and other programs for writers. Our special collections lecture this month welcomes John Singleton to share Isle Dernier, the fascinating history of Last Isling and its destruction. The Baton Rouge Concert Band offers us all a Memorial Day salute, and the Civic Orchestra of Baton Rouge goes to the movies this month. Soul Food Fest dishes up a flavorful menu of food and music on May 17th and May 18th. The Step Team gets us in the mood to move and groove, and the Master Gardeners and the folks at Garden Discoveries keep us moving all month long. So how about cutting a rug with the Lagniappe Historic Dance and Pastime Society at the Pride Cheneyville branch? Or join us for Tai Chi or walking, or practice your form on everything from pickleball to yoga with Hive class. And while you're moving, don't forget that we now have blood pressure kiosks at 3 locations, Delmont Gardens, Carver, and Eden Park, plus circulating blood pressure kits. How about joining us for the Grown Up Gaming League or earning your Makerspace badges so that you're ready to have fun this summer? And speaking of summer, we'll kick off the Summer Reading Challenge at the end of May with this year's theme, Color Our World. So expect a summer where you can flex your creativity and imagination. So much to do at each and every branch. Check it out in this month's issue of The Source, available in print and online at ebrpl.com. It's all free with your East Baton Rouge Parish Library card.
Free access to books, audio, and library resources are just a few of the benefits available to you when you get a library card. Need free access to a computer? You get that. Want free access to premium digital resources like Mango Languages and lynda.com? You get that. Need to book a meeting space? You get that. Heck, you can even check out a telescope or use a digital printer with your library card. If you live in East Baton Rouge Parish, pick up your free library card from your local branch library today. Premium access to everything the library system has to offer is waiting for you.
With today's school, coursework, and job market, it seems like everyone's talking about coding. But it's all Greek to me. How can I possibly understand enough to know what's going on in the modern world? Maybe Fiero Code can help me out. It's time to find out more in the digital download.
This state-of-the-art platform is designed to teach coding in an engaging, effective, and fun way. Whether you've always wanted to learn how to create websites, design apps, or even program robots, Fiero Code has something for everyone, covering languages and tools like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Python. Fiero Code is not just another learning tool, it's a comprehensive coding journey, suitable for ages 8 to adult. It includes interactive lessons and even coding competitions to test your skills against coders around the world. It's geared towards turning beginners into proficient coders and making the process as engaging as possible. The platform uses gamification techniques where learners earn rewards, unlock levels, and customize their own robot avatars as they progress. Moreover, it's structured around an overarching narrative, helping a robot save the world, Planet Fiero, adding a thrilling layer of storytelling to the learning experience. Coding is more than just a valuable career skill, it's a language of the future and a tool for creative expression. Find Fiero Code as well as our other coding resources, Treehouse and Code Combat, in the digital library at ebrpl.com.
Fiero Code can really help you break into the coding game. I can see how this platform can make coding come to life. Let's shift gears now and go beyond the stacks.
I'm familiar with the One Book, One Community program because it's national. And through the years, I've been involved in a couple other places where they do this, but I've never been involved with the program in Baton Rouge. So it was a thrill to get the call from Mary Stein with the library last year, a year ahead, to ask if I would want to participate in this. And they told me that they had selected the book Season of Life as their 2025 selection. Of course, I was thrilled. I felt honored. You know, for a tired old writer, that's a beautiful thing to think that maybe someone still cares. And I had no idea still what I was getting into because I've watched it unfold. It's not a one-day thing. This is a 2-month program. And I've seen what the library staff does, what the volunteers do in terms of reaching people in this community. And it's really been special for me to be able to participate in some of those other events and see what they're doing to bring people together in this community. Season of Life is a book about a man named Joe Ehrmann, who was a former NFL star a long time ago, but the book has nothing to do with football. It's a book about the work he's been doing in much more recent years. Joe is 76 years old now, but he's been doing this for most of his adult life. He runs a program called Building Men for Others, which is all about teaching boys and men how to be men of substance and impact in this world, as opposed to all the other junk they're being fed out there on a regular basis. Well, what Joe does, he coaches high school football on the side. He's a pastor at the time of the book, pastor of a large church in Baltimore, 4,000 members, but on the side, he's coaching high school football. And he does that because that's the perfect context, in his view, in which to teach boys these lessons. And what he does is he debunks what he calls false masculinity, which is what our culture is giving boys and men on a regular basis, and then rebuilds into them what he calls strategic masculinity. I won't give too many details to take away from the reading of the book, but at its broadest sense, there are 2 categories there. One is about relationships, and the other is having what he calls a transcendent cause. That's a cause beyond yourself, a cause bigger than your own individual hopes, dreams, and desires. Today is an opportunity to actually speak with and visit with people who have been participating in the program, readers throughout the parish who have decided to come and hear what they call the author talk. I was really excited about that because I love hearing what people think and what their own feedback is. You know, funny thing about writing, whether it's a newspaper story, magazine piece, a whole book, the words on the page never change once they're there. But I'm also always fascinated to see what the takeaway is from different people. They see all different things on those pages, even though the words never change. And so that's what makes a program like this, a day like this, enjoyable for me, is to hear from other people. I think the biggest thing for me that's carried through the years is not so much the words on the page as seeing the way people's lives have been impacted. So never was any of this anticipated. I didn't know the book would be used in schools and churches, in prisons, in corporate groups, the Boy Scouts, the Dallas Cowboys, and these types of things go on and on. It keeps going and growing through the years. That was never expected, never anticipated. But much more important to me, honestly, on a personal level, it was a huge piece for my dad and for me and our relationship. That's something that's written about in the book as well. My dad, an amazing man, and this was a life-changing experience for us. I'm not going to give away what we talk about in the book related to the father-son relationship, but ultimately in a big way, this book also becomes about fathers and sons. My dad's 91 years old, and our relationship has been going and growing in incredible ways ever since this book was published. Well, I love libraries. I grew up in Portchester, New York, a long way from here, but one of my favorite places as a kid was the Portchester Public Library. So I'm a little bit biased on this subject. Of course, I've also been writing books for many years. That's what I've done most of my adult work life. So I love libraries in general. And then in Baton Rouge, I've been incredibly impressed in the years that I've lived here. It's coming up on 2 decades now that I've lived here. My wife is from Thibodeau. So being here in Baton Rouge, seeing, feeling, and learning everything they do here with the library system, it's impressive.
We had such a wonderful spring celebrating Season of Life. So many folks have stopped by to tell me how impactful this book was. And we're so grateful to author Jeffrey Marks for so generously sharing his time with us all spring. Stay right there. After the break, Brandon Riley joins me for a chat right here on the Library Roadshow.
Access to data is good for us all. That's why we provide free online access to data access reference solutions. Get a library card. Get access to data at ebrpl.com/digital library.
You're watching the May edition of the Library Roadshow, everything you need to know about your local library system. Now, a lot goes on behind the scenes as the library makes the transition out of One Book, One Community and into the Summer Reading Challenge. Brandon Riley, coordinator for outreach and adult programming, has been involved every step of the way. Okay, Brandon, first of all, congratulations on delivering a great spring series for One Book, One Community.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I really liked how we focused on being intentional and mentoring our younger generation. Now, when I think younger generation with the library, you immediately go to summer reading, and it's all about the summer. So what's going down at the library this summer?
Well, for our Adult Summer Reading Challenge this year, we have a number of different initiatives that we think people will very much enjoy.
Because adults participate. It's
absolutely.
not just for kids.
Yeah, summer reading is for adults too.
That's
and
right.
We want adults to come and enjoy and work toward incentives. We've got a couple things that we're doing this year. One thing is the wonderful Lender Challenge, which is brand new this year. This is a challenge that was established by a family last year, the Lenders, who of their own device and accord decided to visit every single library in a single day.
And it was a blitz, and they made it.
They made it, and it was celebrated. It was a wonderful thing to do, and we're encouraging people this year to participate by committing a heroic act of literacy and following in their footsteps by visiting all 15 locations now in a single day. Those who do so will win or earn the privilege to pour their own medallion, which they can make as sparkly as they want.
I like that.
And join the rare and few ranks of those who have accomplished
So
this
there'll
deed.
be a makerspace moment to go with completion of the Lender Challenge for those very few people.
And I should add that this medallion was modeled and also printed out on our makerspace equipment here at the library.
And then we've made a mold, we'll pour it, and like you said, you can zhuzh it up as best you want, and glitter is the gift that keeps on giving. So the Lender Challenge is one aspect of the entire summer reading program. What's the theme this year?
Well, the theme this year is Color Our World, and we have lined up so many different artists and workshops in which people will be encouraged to come in and color our world with their neighbors, with their families. We're going to do kindness rock painting. We're going to do, we call it Accidental Little Happies, which is going to be a group painting exercise here at the main library. We're really excited about that. We've got other things scheduled. We're in the works to bring in a person who does local ceramics sourced from local clays, and she's going to talk about her process and walk people through that. We've got a wonderful lady out of New Orleans with Hey Now Hooping who's going to be coming to do workshops with us on spirographs. Everybody remembers spirographs?
Love that,
yeah, they're great. And also hula hooping and wellness. So we have a lot lined up, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. We've got LMNOP, local artist collective. They're going to be at Fairwood Library and a bunch of other libraries doing artistic and painting workshops for us.
And so this will, of course, this theme will translate to the children at all ages, to the teenagers, and then the adults. And so everybody's a winner with the Summer Reading Challenge. We used to call it the Summer Reading Club, but it wasn't a club where you had to be a member. Then we called it the Summer Reader Program, but it wasn't just one program. So we've changed the name, we're updating that, and it's a challenge for the entire family.
Absolutely.
And everybody wins when reading is part of the family. And of course, there's a serious purpose behind this to help the kids prevent the summer slide, so that when they do go back to school in August and September, they don't have to relearn 6 to 9 weeks of skills that have lapsed over the summer. So no couch potatoes with our kids here in East Baton Rouge Parish. And I love the fact with the arts, everyone can find their inner artist. You know, it's not about skill level, it's about that engagement and the participation. So I'm really excited about this. Now, how do people find out more besides looking at the front of the newsletter for May?
Well, they go to our website, which
Okay.
is www.ebrpl.com.
That's right. So programs will be there.
Absolutely.
The newsletter's there. Information about Beanstack and how to sign up for the individual challenges.
And to
by
help
each
organize
person.
that this year, we are doing an adult summer reading challenge bingo card.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And again, adults have asked for this. Years ago, we had summer reading for children. Then we added teens. And it was the adults who came to us and said, where's our program? And I'm like, really? Do we need to bribe you to read? And they're like, yes, you do. So, okay. Don't let it be said that we are not responsive to our public. So people will find out more by looking in the newsletter. And Brandon, I just want to say I really like how we've wrapped it all up in a big, colorful bow. So I'm looking forward to our kickoff at the end of May and then a wonderful launch for Color Our World. After the break, author Julie Sternberg and a whole lot more.
Free entertainment is good for us all. That's why we make ebooks and audiobooks available through the Libby app. Get a library card. Get free entertainment at ebrpl.com/digital library.
Welcome back to the May edition of the Library Roadshow. Julie Sternberg is the award-winning author of the best-selling Like Pickle Juice on a Cookie and its sequels like Bug Juice on a Burger and Like Carrot Juice on a Cupcake, the Top Secret Diary of Celie Valentine series, and the picture books Puppy, Puppy, Puppy and Bedtime at Bessie and Lil's. Her 9th book, the middle grade novel Summer of Stolen Secrets, is out now. Julie joins me by phone to share all the details. Julie, introduce yourself and tell us how you got started as an author.
My name is Julie Sternberg. I've written 9 books for kids now, but I never thought I would grow up to be an author. When I was a kid, I read and I read and I read. I spent a lot of time reading at the Goodwood branch of the East Baton Rouge Parish Library. I never thought I could write books. I thought books were like magical and authors had some kind of magical powers, and I figured I could never do that. I started trying to write when I didn't have much time to read anymore. I had 2 young daughters and a job as a lawyer and no time to sink into books. So for the first time in my spare minutes, walking the dog or taking the train to work, my brain started filling with stories of my own instead of other people's stories. So I tried writing my stories down, and I learned that there's no magic to being a writer. It just takes sitting down and writing and rewriting until you're happy with the story. So that's how I got started as an author.
What's this last book about?
Summer of Stolen Secrets is about a 13-year-old girl named Katerina, or Kat, who has never met her strict Jewish grandmother, Savta. Savta cut off all ties with Kat's family because Kat's father married Kat's non-Jewish mother. Kat has never been to Baton Rouge, where Savta lives, until her Aunt Miriam invites her to visit for 3 weeks during the summer. At that point, Kat is desperate to escape her former best friends who've turned into bullies. So she goes to Baton Rouge, and there the tough and mysterious Savta puts Kat to work in the family department store. In that store, Kat uncovers secrets about Savta's escape from Germany and the Holocaust, which is a time that nobody in the family talks about. These secrets help Kat understand her grandmother and heal her family.
What was the inspiration for Summer of Stolen Secrets?
I grew up in Baton Rouge in a Jewish family that owned department stores. Starting at the age of 5, I worked every Saturday morning in our store on Main Street in Baton Rouge. My grandmother, Leah, reigned supreme in that store and in my family. She was a tough character, and she and my grandfather had fled Nazi Germany in the mid-1930s. They used the money that they smuggled out of Germany, almost every penny of it, to buy the store. I've long wanted to write a book about a girl working in that family-owned department store in Baton Rouge with a tough grandmother who's difficult to understand and family roots in Nazi Germany. Summer of Stolen Secrets is finally that book.
What do you hope your young readers will take away from this book?
I would love it if every kid in Baton Rouge got to read this book that's set in their hometown and that's based on a small slice of Baton Rouge history. I think it would be really nice for kids to kind of see themselves, at least where they live, reflected in the pages of a book. I also hope that readers come away with the start of an understanding of what happened to Jews in Germany in the 1930s and how that experience continues to affect families all these years later.
How can our viewers learn more about you?
You can find out more about me on my website, juliesternberg.com. I'm also on Twitter as @SternbergJulie, and I co-host a podcast called Book Dreams for everyone who loves books and misses English class. The podcast website is www.bookdreamspodcast.com.
Thanks, Julie, and thanks for keeping your hometown of Baton Rouge in your thoughts as you write.
Thank you, appreciate you.
Hi. My name is Jordan Lahaye-Fontenot. I am the author of Home of the Happy, A Murder on the Cajun Prairie. Home of the Happy is the story of my investigation and research into my great-grandfather's murder in the 1980s in Mamou, Louisiana. I was born in Evangeline Parish, grew up in the Mamou, Vidrine area, and lived there all my life until I came to LSU in like 2014. Today we are at the main library and we are going to have a conversation, me and my boss James Foxsmith, the publisher of Country Roads magazine, about Home of the Happy. First, before I would like to read something, but before I do, just want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to thank the library. This is the second event they've hosted about this book. They brought me in like a year ago before it even existed to come talk about it, and we had a really wonderful turnout then. Wonderful turnout tonight. Thank you guys so much. My experience with the East Baton Rouge Parish Library through the magazine and also with this book has been incredible. This is my second event with this book, actually. They invited me before it was even published. They've been very supportive this whole time. They bring lots of great local authors here. I've gotten to meet some amazing writers here at the library and at the library in Lafayette. All of our local libraries are so important. They offer much more than books, but the books are so important themselves. So definitely go check out your local libraries. Ripping through the beer cans, the dangling branches, a lone rubber boot buried on the bank. The boy pointed to a strange, dark mass at the bayou center. What's that, Dad? Don't know, son. Maybe someone killed a deer. Dumped the carcass here? I hope that people who show up tonight walk away with new understandings of Louisiana as a place, as a culture, and a place with lots of problems, but also lots of beauty, and maybe some curiosity about exploring the more rural parts of our state, like Mamou and Evangeline Parish, that often kind of get pushed under the cultural zeitgeist of New Orleans and Baton Rouge and all of that. If you'd like to buy a copy of my book, you can find it here at Red Stick Reads in Baton Rouge or any local bookstore here, also Barnes & Noble, anywhere that you buy books, really. But I encourage local. We have so many great local bookstores across Louisiana, so definitely check those out.
People have been utterly fascinated by this true story. It's a gripping tale, well told, by one of Baton Rouge's own. Stay right there. You're watching the May edition of the Library Roadshow.
Free entertainment is good for us all. That's why we make ebooks and audiobooks available through the Libby app. Get a library card. Get free entertainment at ebrpl.com/digital library.
You're watching the May edition of the Library Roadshow, a production of your East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. Now, it's always a special day when we can open a brand new library to the public. And the brand new South Branch, located 1 block off Perkins Road at 2210 Glasgow Avenue, did not disappoint. It seems like it's been decades since our former director, John Richard, drove by the pasture known as the Ford property and thought, what if? Well, ask no more. You can now see for yourself because the South Branch Library is open for business.
Hi, I'm Patrick Abity. I'm the branch manager of the South Branch Library here on Glasgow Avenue. The South Branch Library is the newest branch in the East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. We had our soft opening in late March, and it's been nonstop since. This is Sarah, one of our library technicians.
Hello.
We have a whole wall of display including board games, thematic displays for books, large print displays, AV displays. We have so many displays. This is the children's room. It has a conference room and a story time room in this corner. As the newest branch in our system, we have the latest in technology. We have large screens in the meeting rooms with which can all be linked together. The Guggle collection, the Grown Up Gaming League collection is here. We have a large courtyard and garden. And we have a lot of amenities that people who are either studying or working using our study workrooms would find useful. This is our teen librarian, Aaliyah Kempton.
We really like games here.
It's fine, just breathe. The teens have 2 study rooms that they can use with those same type of boards. These are probably the most comfortable chairs in the system. Layla likes this chair. At the South Branch Library, we cater to everybody. We have a full children's room, teen room. We have large community rooms, which you can book. We have a meeting room that can seat about 120 people. I used to be a teacher, and these are probably the best smart boards I've ever used. The room is perfect for community groups. We've actually had a lot of state groups already. Teachers, we've had a lot of crafters lately. People have been using the boards, PowerPoint presentations, linking all 3 boards together for larger groups so that they can watch a video and not have to crane their neck. We've had some Zoom meetings already. Since before we opened, patrons were walking in while we were still under construction, and when we were still loading in the library, putting in the books on the shelves, people were still coming in, and we began servicing them before we ever had our soft opening. So we began checking things out as soon as we could. And it's been nonstop since. The branch was built around our oak tree, Virgil, and we have plenty of seating in our garden, both inside and outside, since the outside is kind of the inside. We have alternating seating areas, and they all have USB connections. We have bench seating, and then along the fence back here, we also have more power as well for seating and using your laptops or anything you like, charging your phones. The branch is located on Glasgow Avenue, which is right off Perkins behind Sprouts, close to College Drive.
We've been delighted with the response from the community. Our new neighbors were waiting to come in the very first morning we opened, and that foot traffic has not stopped. And folks, remember, since we operate on the pay-as-you-go plan, it's all paid for. Check it out yourself. And now for today's contest. Visit the library's Facebook page at facebook.com/ebrpl. I'd like to hear from anyone who has taken advantage of our new seed libraries. In fact, I'd like to see how your garden grows. That's facebook.com/ebrpl, and while you're there, enjoy. We're not your grandfather's library anymore. What's coming up on the Library Roadshow in June? Summer Reading Challenge, of course. Thanks so much for joining us on the Library Roadshow, and remember, your East Baton Rouge Parish Library is open 7 days a week at each and every one of 15 branches, plus 24/7 on the web. Check us out at ebrpl.com.